Well, hello folks, I'm back for another wee jaunt. Now I haven't done any narration in a while. For me it's been a few months, but for you it could end up being just a couple of weeks because I had a few narrated videos in the bank there, so it did, as it were. So it might not be that long of a break. Anyway, let's start here. So here we have a 10 by 8 piece of extra fine cotton canvas, and on it I have drawn a little landscape. So I'm going to lay down with oxide red and cadmium red just a little bit of a background, a tone for the background. Okay, so now I'll be wiping a good bit of this off when the time comes, and just all I want to do is give myself a nice warm background here. Boopity boom boom boom. Now I'm going to dry this with a hair dryer. And because this is, what do you call it? It's mineral spirits over here, and that's oil paint. Mineral spirits dry via evaporation. Oil paint doesn't. So what I'll do is I'll dry this up and then I will wipe some of it off. So I'll hit the pause button as to not put you through the whole noise of the hairdryer. Now here folks, it's only been partially dried. So I'm just going to take some of it out and maybe use a bit of spirits, ironically, to take some of this off. Okay, put a little bit on my finger on this bit of cloth here. Just here, and that should help remove some of this off. Okay, and a little bit further on down into the water here, just staying away from the edges. Don't want to take off too much. Okay. Just a roughness, folks, having a bit of a roughness about it. Now let me see, just a nice general wipe. I don't want too much up in the sky. I have my own plan for the sky. So there we go. Right. I will get this area here all cleaned up. Use just an old bit of already used kitchen towel, so as we're not wasting too much. That little bit of liquid there is just throwing me, so I'm just going to wipe it up. Okay, now where to begin? I think I'll begin in the sky. Yes, I think I'll begin up in here. So I want this to be quite a dark, moody look to it. Okay, right, so let's begin with that. A nice grey. Okay, a nice bluey, greeny grey. Tiniest bit of yellow, not much, just to help grey it out a touch. Okay, so let's see now, where am I with this? A little bit more blue. I don't think it's quite blue enough. I've also been thinking about future videos, and I think that in future videos, if I'm not talking for long periods of time, I'm just going to speed the video up, and I'll probably just speed it up 2 or 3 times the speed, and that way you can just slow it down to suit yourself whenever if you fancy it, that is. Okay, so a nice blue grey in there. I'm hoping that's not a bit, I want it dark now, and I'm cognizant of trying to stay cognizant of of how dark it is. Moody rather than dark would be a better descriptor. Okay, and we'll sort those edges out in a momento. But I want this a little bit looser than what it is here, so a little tiny bit of spirits in it, just to make the mixture a little bit looser for me. Now I'm going to use a dry brush, and pretty ordinary filbert dry brush. Just going to work these two together. Nice and soft, nice and gentle. Just working it all together. Blending that in, but it also gives the impression that it's not too blended, it's not a full gradient. Okay, now let me see now. Bumpty-boo, bumpty-boo, bumpty-boo. So a little bit of yellow, not too much. A little bit of the pink in here, a little bit of this too. And now also, and a little bit of liquid. A little bit of liquid, a little bit of mineral spirits. Just working these here. Now I think I'm going to bring up this blue a little bit further. Bring up the pink a little bit further too. Okay. Using what's already on the brush and just working that in, folks. You see that? Now I'm going to come down and do the same with the blue here, this grey blue. It's coming up into it a little bit further than what's originally down. Try and get it to be nice and grey, folks, a nice moody grey day. That's the point anyway, or at least that's the goal. So I'm just going to give it a little gentle brush over. Little gentle brush over here. Just opening that up now. I had, that's been sitting for a while and it's a bit stiff, so I'm just opening it up a little bit on my hand. And just gently. Barely touching the canvas, folks. Barely touching it. There we go. Okay. Good. Let's work on the back mountains here. Let's go for a nice blue grey here. Now I've already got some on the palette. A bit greyer than that, and maybe a bit brighter. Yeah. Okay. So now let me see, what are we to do? And keeping in mind, let me see, I think that's a bit too dark. Now I want to make sure there's a wee tree going in there, and I want to be a wee bit cautious around this this house. Don't want to be covering that up. So a little bit darker up in this area here, a little bit bluer. Just getting this one here working. Nice and soft on the edges. Now I'm going to bring in a sharp brush to get around these edges. It's just a flat brush. It's a cheap one, I think. I think it's one of the cheap ones. It's so cheap there isn't even a name on it. Now that's cheap. So there we go. That's just, now I would be attacking this a little bit differently if I wasn't on camera. I'm only positioning my hand like so to try and stay out of the way of the camera. That's all. In case you think I'm holding it weird. Okay. Righty-ho. Now I want to rack the edges of that. Again, I'll use that flat, that dry brush. Just give it a bit of a clean up because there's some sky in it. So I want to just ruin the edges of this a bit. There, look at that. Nice and soft, folks. Just nice and gently. Just taking that edge off of that. Now, let me see. Yeah, a bit of red into this, bit of black, bit of this, bit of that, and a good bit of raw umber. Is that too bright? I don't know. So I'm going to go and find out. A bit more red, a bit more blue. I don't want it to be too saturated either, so I'm going to keep adding a little bit of umber just to knock the saturation out of it a touch. Use a little bit of liquid and a little bit of spirits just to loosen it up a bit. And then see here, let me see. Just coming along here. I think it may be a little bit more. I think it's too saturated. So I'm going to there we go. Okay. Now I'm not going to go attack this too much. I'm going to wait till it's dry before I completely finish this up, scumble the rest in. So it's going to reach a little bit higher into it. But for now, I'm just going to be going around the edges is all. There we go. I'll maybe also use a little bit of the dry brush technique there too. So I want to have a little tree that I want to go in here, like so. Let me see, it's around about here, and then just bring it forward a bit too. I want down around here a little bit. Okay. You can already see the reflection I have already for it. Okay. Now I want to, where's that brush? I want to take a good bit off this brush. Not all of it though. Just the brush that I was using. Now again, is that, I don't know if this is a cheap one or not. Rosemary & Co. Long Flat Series 2025. So let's see where we are here. Now I want a thingamajig for here. Let me see, a little bit of blue in it. Just remembering that this is a dark, miserable day. Well, no, that's not true. It is a moody painting. It's not a miserable painting, it's a moody painting. I want to take a good bit off the brush. And I'm just going to work it in here this way for now. And then just staying away from the edges. Coming in here, bringing it up a little touch. Okay, so let's see. Now, where did I leave that brush? There it is there. So, back into here. Bum ba da bum bum bum. Just clean that up a little bit there. Work the edges a touch. Alright, that's not a bad start, I think. I'll use a bit of a dry brush just to rack the edges of it a little bit. So I'll just soften these edges up a touch with a dry brush. And then whenever it is dry, I'll come along and I'll scumble it on a little bit more. So I'm going to work on a main set of trees over here, and then maybe the grass. I don't know if I'm going to do the house in this visit, but I may well do. I may well do. So let me see. Yeah, nice warmish, because the sky is cold. Has a bit of warmth in it, I suppose, but it is cool. Okay, so a little bit of liquid, tiny little bit of spirits, loosen it up a touch, help to dry it a bit faster. So let me see, coming along here, like so. Okay, dun 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 dun. And not going right towards the edge. I want to be able to work the edges myself. I'm giving myself room to work, is a better way of putting it. And I'm just not going right to the edge, and then I will use a dry brush to go up into the sky and create a misty effect around the edges. Now let me see. And a little bit down here, just as a shadow for the trees, and I'll put a wee one here for this tree. Okay, now bum, bum, bum. Just racking the edges of this, getting that nice soft transition. And I don't want a completely soft transition in certain places. I do want to bring it up into here a touch more. Okay. And just rack the edges of this too. There we go. I've got a nice soft transition there. So what I'm going to do is remove a little bit here and there so that I can add in some more of the sky. Not too much, folks, just a little bit. Now, where is I'll use a smaller sky brush. I'll use this one here. It's a nice soft, this is an expensive brush, folks. I don't have too many, but these are nice to use. This is a size 3 Rosemary & Co. long flat, and the series number is 279. So, just get myself the sky color back again. Too much pink. Put a little bit more of that into it. And a little bit more of the blue into it. And that's a bit too much. Just testing it at the minute, and that's not too bad. I'm coming in here and just messing around, folks. Okay, and then in here I'll get that nice and soft in a second, creating the idea that the sky is breaking into the tree. I'm sure you've seen that 100 times. Okay, so I just want to gently mess with this. Just gently. I'm just using a bit of a kitchen towel, and I'm just, probably not, no, I won't use that. Let's forget that I done that, eh? Shall we? Right, I'll use the brush that I used. I'll just clean it off a little bit. Use the kitchen towel on larger pieces where there's more of a room to maneuver. Okay, it's a bit better now. Now, let me see, where's my, there we go, there it is. Nice and gentle, barely touching it, folks, just softening that up. Nice, right, now. Okay, I want to. Probably need to bring the tree base down a little bit more. Just down a touch more. There. Okay. And then put in a little bit of this here. Just along the base here. Which most of it will be covered up in soon enough. Right, so now I'm going to put in some of these shadows just while I have the colors here. A little bit blue and a little bit brighter. I'm going to have the shadows a little, or the reflections I will say, not the shadows. I'm going to have the reflections a little bit brighter. If it's a really bright sky, the reflections can be nice and dark. And if it's a dull, moody sky, you can brighten the shadow, the reflections a little bit. So it's a little bit brighter than the actual. Oops, it is. It's a bit much. Now you may not see the difference here just yet, but it is a little bit brighter. Bumpty boom. Okay, and I'll just put in a pretty bright reflection for this one because it's a good further distance away, so it is. I'm just going to lay that down for now. Okay, now let's work on this scale, or this, the reflections of this here. Let's work on the water, I think is the word I'm trying to say. Okay, so plenty of blue, making this a nice bluish color. Nice cool blue. A bit of liquid. Probably a bit bluer than that. I think I'm going a bit too grey. So let's see, just up in here, just get this movement in first. And down in here I'll touch, and maybe a bit darker as I'm coming down, but for the time being I want to go a bit brighter on the side here. Tiny bit of cadmium into it, just okay, let me just, I don't know if that's grey enough. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm not quite grey enough. So I'm going to just grey that down a little bit there. Okay, same here. Okay, and then getting a bit darker as I'm coming down, just transitioning down a bit. Just down in here, a little bit bluer too. Oops, bit too much up there. Okay, now. All right, okay. Bumpity bump bump bump. Now I haven't brought, see there's my mistake. I knew something wasn't right. I haven't brought the reflections down far enough. But it's an easy wipe out. Just bring this down to here. Almost to the base of the painting. Just let it fade out. Okay. And again, staying away, not completely, but staying a bit away from the edges here. And then just going to bring it down, just drag it down into it. And it's going to be lifted up into the reflections, but that's okay. I'll come in from this angle. And that should help soften those edges. Now it's hard for me to see. The light is quite difficult there. When your hand's up here, it's covering the light. And you need light when you're painting. You need to be able to see what you're doing. Okay. So where's my dry brush? Bum, 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 bum. Just keeping all of this nice and soft, folks. Because up here is nice and soft. And I think what I'm going to do up there is just soften that even more. Just how do we look at it there? And I think I'm just going to take the edges off it here, nice and gently, just around the edges. Okay. Now let me see. And I think I may even do the same down here. Just. And there we go. Okay. And now I'm just going to just soften this transition over here a little bit. Okay, and wiping a little bit off the brush and just. There we go, there we go. And there, and there, and there, and there we go. Right, and now I'm just going to lay in a rough foundation of the grass. So a little bit of red in it because I want it quite grey. There's a fair amount of grey in it today. Put a good bit of that sky in it as well, and the water reflections, just to make the painting a little bit harmonious. So let me see now. Just marking my, and that, it's too dark, but I think I'm going to lighten it a little bit. I was going to say I might leave it, but no, I think it's a bit too dark. There we go. A nice edge along the back here. Now I'm bringing it up to here as well. I wanted to come into the house a little tiny bit, make the house look as if it's a little bit more forward than the base of the horizon. Than the base of the horizon? Than the horizon. Now that is a wavy line. That is no good. So I need a straight line here. Bring this up a touch. And it can all be straightened a little bit later, so there's no real hassle here. A little bit more yellow here. Moving forward. slightly more saturated, just ever so slightly. There we go. There we go. Bum ba bum. Okay, now I do want that a bit brighter. Tiny bit more saturated, just along here. I'll work it in to what's already down. There we go. Now we have ourselves a little field that needs a lot of detail in it. Okay. Bit darker. Right, okay, just trying to establish a few things here, folks. Maybe a bit early to do what I'm doing, but it'll be okay for now. So let's get a slightly more saturated green. Slightly more, a little bit of ultramarine, a little bit of cadmium yellow, just coming down into here. Coming across, just getting that married together there. I'm just trying to see what I like the look of and what I don't like the look of. Okay. Now it is a bit too dark, so I'll just slightly go over the top of it here with a little bit, something a little bit brighter. There we go. And then I will come along and put some edges on that. Okay, now down along the base here. Bit of a darker one again. Down along here, boom, boom, boom. And then, whenever I'm actually going to put a bit of red in this. Yeah, that's not bad. A little bit of the red here. And then whenever the time comes, I'll come along and I'll darken the edges of it all. Make it look like it has depth and all of that stuff. It's hard to think whenever you're painting and talking at the same time. Alright, so let me see where is we? Okay. Now I'm gonna just put in the base of these trees here. I want to make sure that it's one of those things that I'm not forgetting soon enough, you know. Just along here, just a little preliminary drawing just for me to remember to put that there. And then again, just preliminary, just little tree trunks, and these are of These are not meant to be anything other than little notes for me to come along and work on. And that's all that is there. And it also gives me an eye for it here. You know, just along here, bring you down here, and then bring you over to here. All right, so now you see something beginning to develop here. Now my concern here is, what color should I do the house? See, I want the house I want the house kind of just way off in the distance. I don't want it to be spotted very much, you know. So I think I'm going to do a similar color to the trees behind and the mountains, but a tiny bit brighter, just the tiniest bit. So let me see. Now that'll not be the same for the roof. I'm talking about the actual building, the brick building part of it. I'm just going to lay this down for now. All things subject to change. Nice sharp brush, folks. And I don't think that's grey enough. A little bit grayer. And I added just some of the mixture down here. That will help. Oh, for goodness sake. Dip right into the white there. Let's start again. Right, now let's see. Let me see. This brush is a bit too big for my purposes. I want a nice sharp edges here. That might be still a bit early to be worrying about the sharper edges, but I like to get them in now. And again, not all the time. Sometimes it is just pure mood, and I'm in the mood to get them in now. Okay, so here we go again. Let's try this again now. Bit of a smaller brush here. Okay, now tiniest bit brighter on this side of it here, just along here. So let me see. Okay, along here. And put on a bit of a slate roof on it. I'm going to go for a slate color here. That lead type color. It has like a reddy pinky color to it. It's not too dark, by the way, those slate roofs. And a little bit of blue in it as well, make it cold. Okay, now, nice and sharp right along the top here. Just dragging it down. And I'm dragging it down. Now I'm going to have a brighter part of the roof over here, because the building is kind of turning a little bit. It's more like an L-shaped building. Just some fine work. Probably early stages for it, but it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, see him over here now. Nice little roof along there, which I will, and I think the building is, no, I think it's dark enough. I think I'm okay with it. It's dark enough. I just need to darken the edges, and I'll do that. Well, I'll do that with some of this brush, and then I'll go on to a smaller brush. Let me see, is that too big? It kind of is too big. So I'll just use the corner of it here. And the music of the water, tender satin sigh, with thine heart let's go flying. Right, now let me see. It's creating a little bit of shadow under the gables here. I believe that's what you call them, gables. And then same over. I think I'll use a different brush for this. Just a little small little brush here. It's just a round brush, Da Vinci, very cheap, size 2. Cheap Da Vinci. And this is just to get the ends of the houses in, just along here. So let me see. I suppose it's hard for you to see this, it being so far away. Well, I can fix that up when the time comes. Now I just want to go in and around the edges here. I don't want it sitting out the way it is. You can still, it's like it's outlined, you know, so I don't want that to be the case. So let's stop this from being outlined. Okay, and let me see. Yes, I need to move over to this little mountainside. On the mountainside. Okay, over here. Okay. Now, so what I am going to do, I'm going to lay a little bit of a lighter gabled edge on this, on the roof here. Now I'm just going to do this freehand, and I'll sharpen it up when the time comes, just gently along here. That's just for me. That's just so that I can see what's happening. Now, let me see. Yeah, I think I'll scumble everything else in when the time comes. What I will do is I'll just soften the edges of this. For now, nice soft brush here, folks. Or no, not a nice soft brush, a dry brush is what I'll say. This is just an old filbert brush here. With thine heart let's go flying in thy thoughts and wakeful dreams. Hear the music of the water. Sigh. There we go, just darkening that a little, and I cooled it down just a touch with ultramarine. Now it's a warm blue, but it's still a blue, which means it is still a cool color, coolish color. That's a bit much, gone a bit too far there. It's a bit better. Just soften that edge a touch. Okay, so now I'm not happy with these trees, so I will make myself happy with them. Hear the music of the water. It might be a bit too early to be worrying about the trees. It probably is, you know, folks. But I'm worrying about them nonetheless. I can fix these trees at any time, actually. So if it doesn't pan out the way I want it to here, I think I'll scrap it for now and redo it at a later date. Hear the music of the water, tender satin, satin sighing, with thine heart to those go flying, in thy thoughts in wakeful dreams. Okay, a little bit of kitchen towel, just a scrumpled up. Now I won't try and keep it away from the mic, but it's not always easy to keep that away from the mic. So, right. And then just go around the edges here. Really messing that up, folks. Trying to get that randomization going on. That's not so bad now. I feel a bit happier about that. Okay. I'm going to bring this up a touch. I think it's a bit too, bit too much of a shadow on it here. So let me see, is that the right one? A little bit darker. A little bit darker, a little bit bluer. So let me see here. Just in and around the edges, folks. I'm going to just trail it up into it. And so I'll just drag this up into it a little bit, not much. I'm just going to use, now what should I use? Where are my, I've rearranged my entire setup here, folks, just a little bit, and I've lost everything. I'm looking for my fan brushes, and this one will do. It's not exactly what I was after. I was after a softer one. But I think that's more of what I'm after. Wipe off the excess there, and then just feed this one here a little bit, and then just gently softening the edges a little bit. There we go. Okay, now nice reflections. Okay, now it's a case of details, folks. So there's the underpainting. I think I'm done. I'm just going to, what I'll do is I'll go for a little walk here. I'll back up a little bit, and oh yeah, I'll bring you with me. Let me see now. Okay. Okay. Right, I think that will do. That will do for now. I think I'm pretty happy with that, I must say. Okay, right. If I'm happy with it, I'm going to leave it. Why tempt fate? And I'll see you back in the completion of it. See you soon enough. Bye for now. Oh, right, folks. Back to this one now. So let me see. A lot of detail to be put in here yet. Darken a few things and well, just get into it a little bit. So let's create some of the darker areas. A little bit of mineral spirits there, and just keeping this a coolish. Not too dark though, because it's only hanging in and around this area up in here. And it doesn't need to be too dark. I'm just going to kind of scumble these little things on. I think this is way too dark. Way too dark. It's a way too dark. All I'm trying to do is put some texture in the grass here. Just along here. And I'm not quite dark enough. That wee game of balance. 1 minute it's too dark, the next it's not. And so on and so on. So just laying down some darker colours, scumbling this in too. I'm not sure how much, if anything, you can see. I'm going to grey it out a bit with some red. I'm not sure how much you can see this so close. You should be able to be okay seeing it. It's not that bad. Right, so again, scumbling this area on here. Creating that nice rough texture. It's like you're almost staining the canvas. And you can see that. Now let's do that a few more times all over the canvas. Here and there and there and here. Just to get this this grass, a distant grass. I must emphasize that too. Just get it as a little bit of a texture coming into it. Okay, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done here. A fair amount, I must say. Right, so let's get the edgings in here done. Let me see, is that dark enough? I don't think it is. So a little tiny bit darker just in certain areas. Just along here, just topping it in. And kind of almost wiping it off again, but not quite, you know, just smudging it in, as it were. This is slightly, it's near the front of the painting, but these are small and far enough away that they shouldn't have too much detail. So let me see. Now there are some parts of this grass I'll be wanting to lighten as well as having some of the darker areas. So along here, for sure, along here as well. Maybe put a bit of red in this. And that's the oxide red with some burnt umber. Again, just taking a good lot off the brush. All you're doing here is creating the edges of this little grass area. And being rough enough with it, folks. There's no need to be too precise depending on what you're ultimately going for. Now, if you want this to be highly real, then you wouldn't be so rough with it. Let me see. Give me some areas up in here. Just gently destroying the areas, as it were. Trying not to completely wipe everything off, but at the same time, you don't want it showing too much detail. Just along here, and just trail that in. It gives it a nice edge there at the. Well, I think I'll most likely leave this part of it to the last. So I'll work up on the shadow of these trees up in here. Nice coolish shadow along here. Let's see now. But dark too. Nice. It's a bit too wavy. A bit too wavy. Just take the wave out of that a touch, and then just rack the edges. Just rack those edges. Give it that grass look. Distant grass. Okay, now let's put in the trees, or the tree trunks. So a nice dark one here. I want a good silhouette here in between the far grasses along here, and then the front of the tree trunks. So a decent silhouette. Some thin tree trunks and some thick tree trunks, just to get that variance. Okay. Bum ba da bum. There we go. Right. Now we get ourselves a nice little tree area there, which I think I put a little bit too much shade in, but I shall fix that soon enough. Just give me a small. I want to tackle this area here. Right. Some raw umber and some cadmium red. Get this little bit of ultramarine. Nice dark-ish color here. And a little bit of liquid to help it move a touch. So let me see. Is that dark enough? Yes, I think it is. I think it is. So let's scumble this in now. Creating darker patches and leaving lighter patches behind. Let me see now. Get a bit of kitchen roll here, folks. And let's just semi-destroy what we've put up here. There we go. Ah, yes. Right, what I want to do, just while I'm here and on it, I'm going to put in some thin trees. Now I might have to change my brush here, but let's see what I can achieve with this brush. just up and along here. This isn't too bad, this wee brush. Just has that nice roughness to it, or it leaves those nice rough edges behind. Now, don't want to rack the sky, so I'm being careful about what's on the finger here. There we go. Okay, we can get ourselves a couple of little trees there. So where's my little scumbling brush? Here we go. Now, I want to do the same thing with this here. But I want the edges to be a bit softer on this and a bit warmer. I want the silhouette of the sky shining through this one. Right, so and let's get some, just slightly wiping the brush off here. And I'm just going to go straight into some oxide red. Just take a good bit of it off the brush, put it onto the palette, just scrape it onto the palette, and then what's left on the brush, oh, you don't want those wee things on them, what's left on the brush, just put it up in here, creating a nice, soft, warm edge. Alright, well, I'll leave that for the time being. I think the center of it is a bit too bright. So I'm just going to see if I can pull it back a little bit darker. Leave the edges nice and bright. Okay, now I want to work on the grasses here. So some raw umber, cadmium yellow, and a little bit of oxide red. Now I think this is too dark. A little bit of white in it, titanium white. And what do I think of that? I think it needs a bit of blue in it. Just cool it down a bit. Yeah. A little bit more white, and then I will test it with what's up here already. So let me see. Now, is that too bright? I think it is. It's going to grey it down a little bit too, just using what's on the board, what's on the palette, sorry. Now, I want to be gentle with this. Gentle enough. I want it to come into this area here too. So I'll do just brighten these areas up in here. Really make it look like there's a good contrast in behind this tree. There we go, look at that. I got that. Okay. Now because I want some darker patches, I'm not going to be completely covering this. And I'm just scumbling it on, just gently, folks, just gently. As I'm moving over here, I want it a bit cooler because it's in behind this here. this row of trees, so it's a tiny bit cold over here. Maybe a bit darker too. That's better, that's good. I'm happy with that now. It's a nice tone. Just ruining the edge here on purpose. Alright, okay, now I'm going this blue here, I'm just going to be scattering this around. Just here and there. Not big patches of it. Just scattering it about a bit. And then having a brighter area here and there. Just to give us that concept, that idea of textures on the grasses. Lots of different shades and tones that are barely noticeable, but they are there. That's important. It is important. So it is, so it is. Right. So I'm going to work a little bit more saturation down in this one here. And I want it a bit rougher because we're coming close and I want you to see a little bit of detail in it. And so I want it a bit rough-ish. Just dabbing it off. Now, let me just see. Let me just spread this brush out. And then just giving myself some textures up in here. I'm not sure that I like that, but at the minute I'm okay with it. As I say, I just need to just coming into these edges here. Okay. Same again, a little bit of a brighter patch here and there. Now if you notice on the palette here, if you have a wee look over here, I have a dark green. Well, if you look at all of it, all the different shades of greens, and they're just made up with ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, yellow, oxide red, and raw umber. A little bit of white, but of them all in close proximity to each other, and that way you can see the different shades. Whenever I add a bit of white to the dark green, you can see that the tone has changed from a dark green here to a lighter green, and then if I add a little bit of red to it, you can see that this green is being desaturated. If I add a little bit of blue to it over here, it's being cooled down over there. If I add a little bit of white to it over here, it dulls it out, and so on and so on. As you see, there is a myriad of different greens right across this, but they're all close together, so I can see the tonal change. Okay. Right, now let me see. Now I have a wonder if this area, I know I wanted it to be a bit brighter, but I think I've made it a bit too bright. So I'm going to scumble it, or sorry, no, I'm going to glaze it a bit of a darker one that I have down here. And it's going to be a bit of a glaze, tiniest bit of black in it too, not much. Now lots of liquid, and then just take a whole lot off the brush, and let me see where we are here. Is it darker? I believe that it is. And I won't come close to the edges, I'll just let the edges be. Let me see that. Now, am I happy with how dark it is? I don't think I am. I think I want it a bit darker. A little bit colder too. So I'll put a little bit of ultramarine in it rather than cerulean. I don't want it too cool. Now, this is the area down here that is the concern. Let's go right up to the edges of the grass, but not the edges of the reflection. Just staying away from the edges. I will work that in with a cloth or my finger in a memento. Now I have darkened it down a bit. So what I'll do is instead of I'll use a dry softy kind of brush. So I'll just work that in. And it's just a wee makeup brush. Nice wee blending makeup brush. Really does a great job. At least I think so anyway. Nothing special about it, it's just a little cheap brush. No. Right, now, oh yes, I still have this one here to work on. And that tree is the tiniest bit further away. So I'm going to make it a little bit not so dark. A little bit misty maybe. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. Now the weird thing about it is that it's off. Tut tut tut. I'll bring it over a bit here. Bring it over a bit here. And now I have the work to get this blue sorted out. Tut 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 tut. And when I said it was off, I meant it's not matching in the lineup. Now that's a bit too bright, I think. Oh, for goodness sake, way too bright. But too bright and a bit too saturated, so desaturate it, darken it a touch, a little bit more red in it. And let me see where we are now. Now that's a bit better, still a bit too bright. Let me see now. That's a bit better. Just getting that to work in a bit. Okay, now I'm going to soften these edges forthwith in a memento. Okay. Now I'll get another little brush, a little makeup brush, and I will just ruin the edges on both of these here, just all along here. Just get that all soft. Right, okay, now I saw something that I meant to, oh yes, the base of the tree here. Right, so let's see now. The base of the tree. And I want the tree to be a good wee bit thicker, the trunk of it too. So I do. And I will do that now. Okay, so on both sides. Slightly wider at the base. Coming up into the tree. And let me see now. I don't like the shadow. I think it's a bit too dark. I'm just going to lighten it by just gently removing it. And it'll just be the ever so slightly lightened. And that should do it, I think. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to whiten, put a little bit of white in the sky here, just a touch. Just a little spot that I can use in the water here. I'll probably put it around about here. Now that and a touch of yellow, barely noticeable. A little bit of liquid. Keep dipping in this white just till I get the tone that I'm after. And now I say if I run this here, yeah, just there. Not too much. Spread it across. I will work it in, and then I will, once I have this worked in, I will go over it again with another same color. Once I have this worked in, same color, but because it will show up brighter, if you see what I mean in a moment. Just working this in. Okay. Now you already can see that it's a touch brighter. So, and then one last one right in the center of it here. I maybe have to redo it if I work it in too much, which I may well do. I'll just go around the edges to begin with. There, nice and gentle. There, now I've overdone it, so I'll redo it. I'll just go in with it this time with some pure white. Okay. So let me see. All right. Now, I will soften these edges, just touching them, folks. Just touching them. There we go. Now, what I want to do is I want to scumble a little bit of brightness into the water. Just directly beneath it, just about here. Now, that's not scumbling, that's painting. Whew, we're going to take a bit more off this brush, okay. Just, let me see. Yes, that can be seen, okay. Sometimes, when you take a step back, you're wondering if what you're doing can be seen, can be noticed. And yes, this time it can be. And I barely just want you to just see it and no more. I don't want this to be too apparent, and that's just about that slight tone brighter. Now I'm not happy with this water around this here. So if I'm not happy with it, I fix it. That's the nature of it. Right, just in and around here. Let me see, and you're just not happy with that reflection. This reflection here. So I'm going to gently paint over it. Some of it anyway, not all of it. But I don't want it to be too saturated. Let me see, am I happier? I'm happier with that now, yes. Right. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to do up in the house and up and around this area here. The house is the main part. I'm just going to work in down around here for now. So, have I used both of mine? I have, yes. Right. So I'll put in some darks down in the base here. Let me see. Yep, that's dead on. A little tiny bit darker. A little bit of blue in it, ultramarine blue. Just a touch. All I'm doing is just scraping this on. I want it lovely and rough down in here. Oh, look, you can barely. Look at that, that's just scraped on. Nice, really nice effect. Okay, now. Pum 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 pum. She drives me crazy. Oops. Yeah, it'll be all right. But I just miss myself. Now I think I want some. I think I want some life in the water here. Now I don't mean fishies, I just mean mosses and grasses and whatnot. And I maybe put in a couple of posts. I don't know. Like a fence post or something, just to get the idea of reflections there. Now look at that there. See that blue? That's too blue for me. I don't know if I like it or not, and I suspect that I don't. So I'm just going to lighten it a touch. Now, coming in with clean hands, or more specifically a clean finger. I will rub this in. No, I don't have a clean finger. Let me see. No, I do not. Let me see. Here, just this one here. It's a bit better, a bit brighter in certain areas, not so bad. Okay, right. So let us create this here. Let me see now. Okay. Now this area here needs a touch brighter. And I shall show you now. Just as a scumble on. Just lay that on, folks. Let the brush, let the brush do the work, folks. So, now apart from the house, we're getting there. Nice and rough there, folks. Right, now let's focus on getting, as I said, some life in this water. And life via grasses and mosses and whatnot. So let's see here. Don't want it too dark at this stage. So I'm just going to drag this across. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to dab it across. Okay, and the same here. Just a little island, as it were, of grasses. Okay. Right. A little bit of a red one for a change, just down in the darker area here. Let me see now. A bit of an orangey. Patch. Okay. Now, there's still a bit of work to do on this, but I've just noticed that I want to make sure that I'm doing it here too. This is important. Just up at these edges here, just breaking them up, bringing them down into the water a touch. So there's a sense of roughness there, a sense of reflection. Okay, and using, too much black, way too much black. Just wipe it off and just gently dabbing in the edges again. And then coming down and doing the same job down here. A little bit darker in certain areas. Okay. And same here, just a wee flick up and then a wee flick down. That creates a small reflection of grasses. No. Now, edges, or not edges, sorry, what am I talking about? I'm talking nonsense to you folks. Right, what am I talking about? Oh, well, I'm talking about edges. Anyway, the edge of this here, just scumbling this, making this rough. There we go. Oh, a few grasses up in there, just to rack that edge a bit. You don't really want very straight edges on a landscape. No, I'm not entirely happy with that. So I'm just going to get a dry brush here, folks. Nothing special about it. I'm just going to rack it up. Actually, I need a more rough one than that. I want one that has a bit of a roughness to it. And can I find one? Yeah, this will really beat up. It's almost not there. Oh, it's just. That's a bit better. We just wasn't happy with it there, folks. There we go. Now, so I'm going to have a wee look here before I don't want to work on the house until I am happy with everything, and I'm not entirely there yet, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. So let me see here. Too bright, too bright. And I'm still on this old, really beat up brush, because all I'm going to do here is just drag this across. Now it's too dark and it's picking up, it's dropping off too much. So let me see now. Again, it's still a bit too dark. So let me see. That's a bit better, yes, indeed. Okay. Okay. Yes, I think the house is on now. So I think the house is on. Okay, so I'm going to hit the stop button here when I sort my brushes out, and I'll be back in a momento, folks. Alright, now, all I was doing there, folks, was just getting the smallest brushes that I can do this job with. Okay. Well, and all I was doing there was testing such a thing. Now, straight in. No fussing, no hussing. Now, a little bit of liquid on it. I want this to be a nice sharp edge on the brush, which I'm not really achieving, but I might get away with it, so I might. So let me see. I think I'm getting away with it for now. Okay, and then over here. Now, what I want to do with that is to draw that down in, so that, and I'll do that with a dry brush, a smallish dry brush. Okay, it's just another little makeup brush. Just softening that edge. There we go. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking a moment to have a little look. Right, I have to be cognizant to not get my brushes mixed up here. So I'm pushing that all to the side. And now, tiniest bit of cadmium red. Oops. Goodness me, I said tiny, but okay. And a little bit of blue. Blue grays a lot of things out, so it does. Okay. Okay, now a little same again with this dark overhang of the roof. Just laying it in and then going to draw it down. And the same along here. Alright. Now I want a nice dark area in here. I'm going to go almost jet black on this. So I'm just not quite, but almost jet black. Now is this brush too big? I think it is this way anyway. Right in the corner of this little L-shaped house. Okay, now, same again, I just want to brush this up a touch here. Soften these edges here. All right. That's good. Right, now I am going to work. Oh, I need to fix this area up in here before I do anything. I don't want to be having to fix the roof of the house later because I couldn't be bothered working on this area now. So let me just see how dark that is. I'm okay with that. Nice and gentle. And just working that in, making it look like the edges of a tree or a bush, sorry. There we go. Alright, 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 alright. Ooh. Right, now, same again on the side gable here, or the side of the house, I'm not sure. Oh, I missed. Okay, now I think it's a bit too dark, but I'm not quite sure at the minute. So I'm going to just carry on as if nothing happened. Okay. And I will make the same mistake going down the side here. And hopefully it wasn't a mistake. All right, now the roof, the actual roof. So I want it a bit brighter than what I have it here. Bit of blue in it. Bit of red. Well, that old slate colour. Let me see now, I think that's the same tone. Exactly the same tone. Okay. A little bit brighter. Nice and sharp. And just go in here. Now, Just having that caution, a little bit cautious. Don't want to slip at the wrong time. So just being a little bit cautious. Okay, all right. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Now, I want some of the light shining on that part of the roof. Some of the major sky part there. So a little bit of a brighter tone here. Now, not too much. Not too bright. But still, bright enough. Okay, now this little roof here too, I want it a little bit darker than what I have there. Or not what I have there, than what I'm putting on this side of the roof. Still a little bit darker. Yeah, it's not much darker, is it? No. Okay, so do the normal, just there we go. It broad brings it back a little bit. And let me see now. All I have to do, folks, is cover up some of the red here that's been left out, and I'll do that with this here. Actually, I want a bit brighter down the side here, just as a little like a post type thing, you know, so that it's not all the same. Now, I don't like this that I have just seen. That gable, I'm going to take a good bit of this, not a good bit, I'm going to take a bit of this gable off here. Right, okay, I'm using all the wrong words here. So bear that in mind. I don't mean gable. I mean the side of this house here. I just thought it was a bit too dark. Same with this here. No, that's a bit better. But it needs sorting is what it needs. Nice and sharp edge here. Okay, that's good. And now the same down the other side, only not so bright. All right. Now, kind of almost here, folks, almost here. I just want to make sure these wee holes here are, these wee doors and whatnot are playing their part. Now, do I want a chimney on it? I don't think so. I don't think I need any more artifice on it. Artifice, yeah, I think that's the right word. Okay, folks, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little step back here. You can come with me. Now, I'm going to lighten this a little bit. I think the just a bit. I think that's closer to it. And let's go for a walk here, and we'll see where we are. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's nice. Nice wee moody landscape with a wee, with a wee small house off in the edge. So that one will do. I'm happy with that. It's a nice one. Okay, now let's get all of this tape off, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It helps a bit, you know. If you're interested in painting, these are free lessons, and well, they're bound to help you somewhat, you know. And if you subscribe, then you get to see them when they pop up. Anyway, right, folks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.